Alright, so all I do is, to do this, I just pick whatever end of my board is the best end, and then what I'll do is just slide it into my my little sliding sled that I've got, and then like I said, I'm just going to trim it and pile it over there. So I'll go ahead and get that piled on up, then I'll turn on the camera again and show you how I use this to cut everything to length. Alright, so all I do is, to do this, I just pick whatever end of my board is the best end, and then what I'll do is just slide it into my my little sliding sled that I've got, and then like I said, I'm just going to trim it and pile it over there. So I'll go ahead and get that piled on up, then I'll turn on the camera again and show you how I use this to cut everything to length. So I guess I forgot to turn the camera on when I was cutting these pieces, but I'll just show you what I did. So here's all my stiles, and there's all my rails over there piled up. I'm working on, I guess 79 doors is what I'm going to do in this round. Then I'm going to do another round of smaller stuff. So all I was doing is just taking my blanks once I squared off my end, just sliding them into my, this is my my table saw sled. I've got show this in another video, and all I have to do is just pull this out, line this up with the edge of the fence here. You can see it lines up with my measuring tape. Just put it in the right spot, and then just, of course, just run it through and cut it off. So I've got everything cut now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my power feeder in order to run all this stuff and put the right grooves in it for to make the doors. So I'll set up to do that, and then I'll flip the camera back on, show you a little bit of it running through. The rail and stile bits that I'm using here, and you'll see that they're a set. They're not just one that you can remove the wings and change them around. And I'll tell you the reason why I like using this set is you can see that they actually have the little trimmers on them here that run right in. So when my material runs through, rather than just running it through and just plowing this groove and this groove, I can actually set it up so that it's actually taking a little bit of the whole piece of material, and then I end up having the perfect smooth edge on my material too, because then it's routed. As you can see, it routers the whole thing. And then I've just got to set up my fence so that it will catch that last little bit. This kind of acts like a joiner, if you get what I mean. And then the same thing with my end cut bit. I do the same thing. I just make it so that this is just trimming just a micro little wee bit, and then I end up with a perfect square cut and exactly the right depth every time as well. So now I'm just going to set this up. I'll get this into my router table here, and then I'll set up my power feeder and show you it's doing some routering. Alright guys, so this is my homemade power feeder. Now I've got it set up here on either side, and I just clamp it down with a couple clamps, and there is other videos to show this rig. There's my router bit coming out right there, and now I'm going to put my little feed rollers back on. I had to change this fence to be able to make it so it's a little closer to zero tolerance there. So now I just put my little rollers on. They just thread on. And the other one I made actually used hockey pucks, or I actually used hockey pucks. So if anybody was thinking about making one, just have a look through, and you'll see how I made it as well. So then put these little nuts on to lock it in place. Now I did have my wrench. I think it's underneath here. Oh my. One's under there anyway. Oh, the other one was up above here somewhere. Here it is. My 15/16 to lock these down. And the way this works is these are tipped a little bit. The shafts aren't running straight, so it always wants to pull everything through. And they're a little spring loaded, as you can see, so it just kind of rides up and then it'll pull it through. And you know, with that many pieces, you can't. I couldn't even imagine doing that by hand. So now I'm going to start up my dust collector, and then I'll start feeding these through and show you how this works. I'm going to do a test with this here scrap piece to see how it's turning out, and then I'll start running my other stock once I get this thing set. So we'll start it up and run this piece. So you can see I can just let things go. It runs all by itself. tremendous amount of routering to do. Couldn't imagine doing it without having that machine. So here's my pile of stuff that I was routering, and you can see that I've got it all done with the just taking the little notch out. And then here's some that I ran through the second pass. And if any of you guys have made doors, then you'll recognize that cut. And what I'll do next on these ones is just run it through the table saw and split it up, and that'll leave me 2 3/8 inch rails. So now I'm just going to set up and show you this thing running through, doing these up. And like I said, the way that I've got my router set up, I'm just going to bring it over here. The way that I've got this bit set up, it's going to be hard to see, but with the face of this bit is actually out past the front of the fence. So when I run this through, it's actually just taking a shave off the whole board, and then it ends up with a whole routed edge and nice and smooth. So, and if I have to, if I notice a little chip out or maybe something doesn't quite router, then I can just run it through again and it'll just take another little shave off. And sometimes it takes a few shaves, but this batch has been really good. I haven't had to really run anything more than, hardly anything more than once. So so now I'll set up, and I've got this thing in low gear now too to run it, but I'll set up and just show you a few pieces going through. Folks, a little bit more of the making of the raised panel doors. Once I'll get this stage done, and then I'll turn the camera on and show you more in another video. So hopefully you had fun watching. Hopefully you'll keep tuning in. I thank you for watching this video.